figures. So it's definitely something that I have enjoyed over the years. And this is one of the most favorite things that I love to do, is helping people grow their Christmas light business.
That's great. And so would you have imagined that this would become one of like the biggest like things in the industry that people are doing is Christmas light, residential Christmas lighting?
In 2014, when we started, it was like, who does that? Or very few people knew what that was as much as it is now. But even back then, I remember, whether you're in any service industry, when people start teaching other people how to start and grow businesses, that you're ruining the industry and all these new guys are coming in. And they've been saying this since I've started in 2014. And so, that is something that, as I've helped people start and grow, it's the grit that gets things to be able to grow this business. And so, over the years, and it's just exciting to see how much it has grown. I know several of my friends are, full-time installers. They do nothing else except Christmas lights. In the past, you didn't see that as much, but in today's world, there's probably a couple hundred people that's all they, or more, that I know of, that all they do is Christmas lights. So it's an exciting business that see people start and grow businesses.
Right. So you said that you were doing pressure washing, right? Previous to Christmas lights. So do you see a lot of people who are pressure washers that get into the business then turn into full-time Christmas light installers only, or they go into like event lighting or things like that? How does that work?
A lot of times it is one of those things that people will do. Pressure washers, they will get into Christmas lights, and then they start having more success in pressure or in the Christmas light business than they do in their pressure washing business or any other landscape business or whatever, and they will move over to it. And so it's interesting to see, some will do just Christmas lights, some will get into, permanent lighting, others might get into landscape lighting or event lighting. And so it is interesting, because it's one of those things that, even if you are a full-time Christmas light installer, a lot of times, one of the things that I've learned here recently is you water what grows, right? And so if you want something to grow, you got to water it. And it's not just watering it for 2 months, because if you just water it for 2 months, it's going to die. And so if you water Christmas lights year round, you literally, because whether you're in the residential, the commercial, this is the time that we're going knocking on doors and banging on doors to try to get those $100,000 installs or plus. And so I just had a guy message me yesterday, said, "Hey, I just closed my first six-figure job." And so that didn't happen in October, November. That's happening in January and February and March and April and May and June and July and August and September. It happens year round, because it's all about relationship building. It's about finding the right people and learning from the right people and knocking on the right doors and asking the right questions.
Definitely, I agree with that. So just a quick housekeeping. If you're watching on Facebook Live, please put your questions or comments into the comment section. If you want to join us on Zoom, you can. The link is in our event section on Zoom. You can join us right here and talk to us one-on-one if you're interested in doing that. Or if you're watching the replay either on YouTube or on Facebook as well, put your questions in there still. We're going to read them. We're going to get back to you. We look at all of the messages that come through, whether it's through Red Sleigh Workshop, our Facebook page, whether it's through our YouTube channel. We look at everything, we see everything. If it's not me, it's going to be Patrick responding to you. So definitely put any questions in there, and we're happy to circle back with Jason and ask him anything you might have. We're here to help in whatever capacity we can. So please put your questions into the chat, and Patrick will let us know that you have them going on. So
Yeah.
um,
Yep, I did. I just posted a comment saying ask your questions. Ryan Banks literally just commented and said, "Hey guys," but I love what Jason was talking about of, you know, year round. That's my favorite question ever. People ask me, "What do I do?" And I tell them I'm in the, Christmas industry, and they say, "Cool, what do you do the rest of the year?" And this is all we do. All we do is Christmas. As soon as we get done taking everything down, we take a very short break for maybe a week or two. Stacy doesn't. I do because I have to. And then we start bidding jobs. We start going to conventions. Like Christmas Expo we're going to be at in 2 weeks. We have three conventions the next 3 months, and as well as bidding jobs and getting the schedules made and doing the site walk. So it's year-round. Christmas is super fun, and but yeah, it's my favorite question. Well, what do you do the rest of the year? Well, that's all we do is Christmas, so it's fun.
Right. And then with at Red Sleigh Workshop, we also have our consulting side of it too, where I do like one-on-one conversations and helping people grow their businesses into the commercial space because like Jason talked about, those $100,000 deals are sitting on the table out there. They're out there right now. People are asking for bids for them, and it's happening now. It happens in the beginning of the year, and it happens all up until November. People are still asking for these quotes. It's every year. It's the same thing. I've had this happen, and Jason, if you've had it happen too, let me know. But every year it comes around October, November. They're like, "Oh, we're thinking of Christmas," and it's a huge project that people are just like all of a sudden thrown at you. So have you had that happen before?
Oh yeah, they went through this big project, and you're like, yeah, that'll be great for next year because
Yeah.
what you want, we can't even get that material and stuff a lot of times of what they're thinking. And sometimes we can come up with a budget, or a lot of residential guys, and at the time of October, November, you're so busy, there's no way that you can take a week or 2 weeks just to do this one project.
Right.
Because you don't have the manpower or any of the other things that go along with doing large scale jobs that these people are wanting. And back up even a little bit more to your question of looking at this, I always tell people to go out and look at who's got their lights up in January, so you can go knock on the door to see, are they happy with that customer service from the company they have now? So that's the reason why Christmas lights is year round.
Yeah, one of my favorite things to tell installers is, if it is October and they're just looking at commercial, it's go look around, take pictures. I mean, you have a general idea of what stuff costs. So go take pictures. If there's a job that has Christmas lights that you want to do the next year, go take pictures, and then research who you need to contact. And then yeah, in January, go talk to them. You kind of have a price in mind that you would charge for that job. So you're already seeing what they're doing, how you can improve it. So yeah, just during the season is a great time to go out and scout and see what people are doing. And then if you have a better idea or just, a job you really want to do, then you already know it and you can go in informed rather than, well, what do you guys do? You already know. So that's one piece of advice I always give people.
Yeah, that's great advice. Thank you, Patrick, for that. Jason, if someone's starting today in the industry with zero experience, what would be the first couple things you would tell them? Like the first two things you would tell them to do?
Well, go buy all the material you need in the beginning. Wrong. No, it's a big no-no.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people will tell you that to go buy $5,000, $10,000 worth of materials. That is a no-go, right? Go learn how to do the installs. I teach people how to start and grow businesses. And a lot of times people think it's all about the bulb, it's all about the clips, and it's all about that. Like, this is the easy part. When people come to my training for 3 days, and doing, everybody's ready for Friday for the install day and teach me how to do the install day. But that's the easy part of this business. Like, I've had 18 and 19-year-olds go put up hundreds of thousands of dollars. It doesn't take a lot rocket science to put up these bulbs. The day two is the most important day. How do we get customers? How do we speak to customers? What's the language we need to talk to the customers? Are we selling bulbs or are we selling magic? Because if you're selling bulbs, you're going to be the $4 or $5, $6 a foot guy. If you're selling magic, you're going to be the $8 to $10, $12 a foot guy. And I know you'll hear it in every industry that you just can't get that in my area. But the biggest thing that I work on in this, whether you listen to me on my regular channel or whatever, is the 6 inches between your ears is what matters at the end of the day. And if you can't change the 6 inches between your ears, your mindset, it doesn't matter about the bulb. It doesn't matter if you get 20-cent bulbs. You're still going to go broke, because if you can't change your mindset and belief and think that I want all the customers, I've heard people, well, all my people are my customers. Well, that's not really true either, right? Because once you start learning business and you understand business, that you will understand that 80% of your money will come from 20% of your customers. And I promise you that's not the bottom 20% of your customers. So why are we focusing on the bottom 20% of our customers and not our top 20% of our customers? That's going to pay you 80% of the business. And I haven't found that to be wrong in this industry at all.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, like you say, there's so many people that say, in my area it's $5 a foot. Well, if you don't have a minimum, for me, if I were doing residential Christmas lights, it would, packages starting at, because I know my worth and I know what it takes to scale a business and to run a business. So if, you always hear those guys, I did $40,000 this year or whatever, and they think they made $40,000, but they have no clue what their operating costs are or anything like that. And so, you have to know your minimums and stuff, and just to be able to go out there. And I've been out there. I remember my first year, chasing leads, and I went to four leads, and they were all, oh, I got $250 to put up my lights, and I didn't qualify my leads, which I think is a big thing in this industry. You just go, okay, I'm going to go out there and sell them Christmas lights. No, you need to qualify them and make sure it's worth your time. So that was the big thing I learned that one day. I mean, I spent 2 hours driving around and just being like, oh man, I wish, okay, I need to do better. And then, but I'll get one of them at least. And no, all four of them were just horrible leads. And I was just like, oh man, I just wasted so much time. So
Well, that's what they call experience, right?
yeah, it was a
You
great
got to have
experience.
that experience.
Yep. Failure is a great teacher. So
But the
Um,
faster you fail, the faster you learn.
exactly.
there you go. So, Jason, when did you start? What year did you start in this industry?
So I started in 2014 was my first Christmas light install season. I went to a little training that I did that um, it started from me doing the huge convention way back in 2014. We were trying to find something to do in the wintertime. And actually, Josh Latimer that was back in the days of Street Bidder. And so we got talking to him. We saw it on the postcard and was like, "Ooh," and we got intrigued on it. And so that is how I was able to start my Christmas light business. My first year, I learned from a great mentor that at the time he was charging $7 a foot out of Chicago. And so this was, like I say, 2014. So he was way above everybody else. And so he had taught me the premium pricing, and he was making more than pretty much anybody else around for the residential side. And so that's where I learned from him, which taught me that that's the importance of it. And so
Right.
from there, my first year, we did 39 installs. We were just over $40,000 our very first year hanging Christmas lights.
Wow.
That's great. So what's one thing that you believed years ago that you've completely changed your mind about now?
Um, Mindset. The more I've learned about mindset is mindset, but the biggest thing from Christmas light wise is throw the universal clips away and use circle clips would be the thing that all those years I used to push the universal clip because that's what we had for the Christmas light side. The other thing too is people will pay. A lot of times we put a budget of what we think they would pay, and we would bid from our own wallet. And that's the thing that you got to remember, that you don't live in that $500,000 house. You don't drive the two Mercedes that are in that street. You don't send your kids to the $50,000-$100,000 private school. So why are you trying to bid it like what they already have? They already have more bills that they're paying than what you make all year long. Almost, they're paying $10,000 out in bills, and you're barely getting along on 4 or 5 grand back in the day.
Right. That makes perfect sense. And that's something that Patrick and I have had a lot of discussions about how, we are not our customer, right? It's not our wallet, right? And that's one thing for residential. It's completely different for commercial too, right? Commercial projects can range from 5,000 to 500,000. And when people hear a $500,000 project, they think, well, that's insanity, but it's not. It's common. And because these are businesses that are run, it's cities, it's shopping centers. That's 500,000 is kind of like us spending $500 on our house, for a big corporation. That's the, the trade-off there. So it's not our money that we're spending, and that changing that mindset is so important.
And it's one of the things too is you want to be around other like-minded people. You know, that's the thing that I've learned. I'm even still learning is like, you know, you have your people around you, but if you want to keep growing, you got to get around people where you want to be at. And so when you get around those people that you want to be like, it changes your mindset of what you think versus what you believe. Then, you know, the other thing too is the words you speak are so important, because if you say I would never pay that, well, that's because that's your mindset and you're putting it on your customer's mindset too. And so if you speak negative words, then they're going to pick that negative word up. And I always say one negative word in a conversation can kill that quote right then and there. Like, doesn't matter what you say after you said that one negative word or that thing that you shouldn't have, because if you don't believe in yourself, neither does your customer.
Yeah, I remember when I was doing residential, to me, there was nothing that I couldn't do. And it's not because I knew how to do it, it's because of who I knew, right? If I was out looking at a job, whatever they wanted, yeah, of course, yeah, we can do that. In the back of my mind, whenever they would mention something, my first thought was, who do I know that knows how to do that? Or who do I know that knows someone that knows how to do that? So a lot of times, people are nervous and they don't know, oh, well, I've never done that before. Well, that's cool, but I'm sure people who have done it. So, yeah, like even before me and Stacy started Red Sleigh, that was one thing. It was, even though I may not know how to do it, I'm sure Stacy's available to fly out here and figure it out. And, it all just takes money. So as long as you're charging the right amount, you can get whoever you want out there to help you do the project.
And that's the biggest thing, back to what you said earlier, asked me is it's not always what you know, it's who you know. Um, Rather it's to get the job, to help you finish the job, to whatever, to make the job right.
Yeah, and one of my favorite things about Stacy being in the industry so long is her product knowledge, right? She has dealt with anything and everything. And when we do some of our consultations, or we get our designer on staff who she's worked with for quite a while, I don't even know why I'm in those meetings sometimes. Like, I'm there because I'm learning, but those two just, I mean, they've been doing this for so long that and we have the client that we're helping bid a job, and they're just like speaking another language, talking about all the stuff that oh, remember when we did this and blah, blah. Hey, yeah, we got those things from so and so. And I'm just like, trying to absorb as much as I can. And yeah, so that's, they come to us for our expertise, and then we help them get the job. And to the customer doesn't know that. And then, to the customer, whoever our client is the expert, and they're coming up with all these great designs and all this awesome stuff that they wanted. So like you say, it's not what you know, it's who you know, which I've, been a motto of mine for quite a while.
Yeah, that's 100%. It's a whole different language in the when I'm taking speaking to our designer. We've been working together for 17 years, so it's a long a long time. Um, so let's switch gears a little bit and talk about marketing. I know that's something that you talk a lot about, Jason, when you're doing your lives and talking about it. If somebody had like say $1,000 to spend today on marketing, where would the first place you'd put their money? What would you recommend?
So the one thing I'm big on is yard signs. Um, I know that a lot of people don't like me when I say it, but yard signs is something that I can prove it over and over and over of making $1,000. I literally had a guy go out and put out 1,000 yard signs. You can buy 1,000 yard signs for $2,200. I just looked it up the other day. And so, you know, that 1,000 yard signs made him over $220,000 last year. And so that is the thing that I push pretty hard. Now, that's one thing. Obviously, there's other things you can do. You know, if you don't, I always say you got two things. You either got money or you got time. And if you don't have money, you got time. So at that point, if you got money, you can do Facebook ads, you can do Google ads, you can do SEO, you can do all the things that can help you grow a business. And again, I said help because it's not a guarantee. And at the end of the day, you're just investing in yourself. A lot of times people make it as marketing spend is expenditure, but at the end of the day, it's investing back into your own business. And so, you know, a lot of people are like, why can't I get to 7 figures? Well, how much did you invest back into your business? Well, I didn't, you know, I didn't know, or that didn't work for me. Well, maybe the person running the ads didn't work for you. Maybe they didn't put the right ad out. Maybe your SEO is not what you think it is. Maybe you think it's ranking, but it's not. Maybe it's only because you got 2 reviews on your thing. Those are all things that are going to hinder you from growing your business. And so if I'm on a tight budget of $1,000, I'm going to tell you to go buy 300 yard signs, because that you can get them for about $3, $3.30 a piece. Go put those out and make that happen. The other thing I'm going to tell you is if you don't have a lot of money like that, get your Google business up, get into Facebook groups. Your mom groups are your money groups. It's not always about the buy here, sell here groups or the neighborhood groups, because the mom groups are your money groups when it comes to Facebook groups.
So that's basically saying go into your local, into Facebook, into your local moms groups and start. And you can't just advertise in there, right? You can't just post what is your what's your trick, I guess is the
So
question.
a couple things. You got to buy it. You got to know, like, and trust. And rather, I'm talking about the Facebook groups. I'm talking about Google. Google is big on trust. EAT. If you don't know what EAT is, you can look it up. EEAT. And the T is the most important thing, and that is trust. And so you don't go into the groups like, hey, I'm a Christmas light installer. You need your Christmas lights. And if it's your wife, because you can't get into the mom group, it's not like, my husband is a Christmas light installer and he needs some money, so would you hire him? No, that's not the way you do it. That's the way that you won't get, it won't work, right? You'll say, well, that don't work in my area. That won't work in your area, I promise you. What you do is you show a nice house and look and say, hey, man, look at this beautiful house that this company came and installed these lights, and they are beautiful, and I love them. My kids love them, and blah, blah, blah. That's how you get into them. And a couple other things you can do too is you can, so typically I am not a person just to give away lights, but there is 2 times I will give away lights. And one of the times is if you can, and it's pretty easy to do, if there's a large Facebook group that, you know, is a mom group, it might be a community group. That is one place I would go and give a free Christmas light job. Now, when I do this, I'm not just doing roof line. I'm lighting everything up. Like when I do a free job, it's going to look like Christmas Griswold, because I want 2 things. One, I want it for my pictures. And 2, they got to post it on Facebook and say at least 2 or 3 times. That's kind of the stipulation of letting me do this into that group. And that is a way that you can get more business by posting that, you know, in their own group of, hey, look how beautiful my house is. They did an amazing job, blah, blah, blah. And so that's how you can use Facebook for it. But as Stacy said, you're not going in there being like, I'm a Christmas light installer. I'm a Christmas light installer. That's the fastest way to get booted out. And then the other one I give a free one away is, especially with Christmas lights, is people in need. We always gave, you know, 2 to 3 away every year. Of if you found a kid that, you know, there were several that we did a funeral that it was they were wanting something for superheroes. And so we're like, we don't have superheroes, but we got a Santa Claus and a snowman. And so we put him up on top there and lit the church up. You know, there was another one, it was right around Thanksgiving, and they knew he wasn't going to make it to Christmas. So they put the, it was like, they made a day that was their Christmas, that we went and designed, you know, did the whole house. DJ, this is kind of funny. My best friend DJ, there was a lady she was going blind, and so we did her house for her. So there's things that, just those are the two times that I'll give free stuff away.
That makes sense. That's awesome that you do that.
Amazing. I'm all trying not to shed a tear
Yeah.
right now, man.
Making him tear up.
Once you start talking about kids, man, it's like I'm like all of a sudden a big softie. So
It's the most amazing feeling that you get internally. Like it ain't even got nothing to do with posting it. It's like you just feel good at the end of the day, and you're like, this is why we charge premium pricing, so we can have this right here for these people here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Makes perfect
on
sense.
that same topic is, when one of my favorite things, or the reason I'm in this industry, um, do I love putting up Christmas lights? Do I love the whole everything about it? No, I don't. And I'll be the first to tell you that too. But when you get done doing a house, or like last year we were in Florida, and we did some really awesome stuff out there, and as soon as we were finishing up, and just the reaction people get, and like how happy they are and how happy it makes them just to see it. And when you do a residential job and they come out and they're just like, wow, this is more than we even expected, better than we thought. And just that's the best part of it, is just meeting and exceeding people's expectations, and it just bringing joy to people. um all the other stuff, it's, there's the fun times, and there's the highs and the lows and everything in between, but at the end of the day, making people happy and excited about the work that you've done is my absolute favorite part of this job.
So we were talking about Facebook pages and Google and things like that, and there's a lot of changes happening in all those platforms right now, as far as I know. Do you know what's important? Is it more important to have like your Google profile and reviews up compared to your social media pages? Like what would you say? How important are those compared to
Kind
each
of
other?
all of it, right? Because now that Google is tying your Facebook pages and some of that other stuff into it, so it isn't just kind of like pick one and do it. It is kind of all of it. It's it is Google business. Reviews are huge. Reviews are a big one, but posting your photos, doing Google business posts, those are a big thing for Google. But also it might show some of your social media posts. So the one thing I will say, is especially if you're just starting, pick one or two and just go all in on those things. Don't try to do everything, because it's back to when we first started. When you try to do pressure washing, landscaping, everything, you're not going to do as well as the person that all he does is focus on Christmas lights. So it's the same way with social media. You got to focus on it. I will say work on your Google business profile. But on the same hand, let's say that you live way far away and you don't have the means to get you an office in closer to where your service area is. Well, that's going to be, it's not going to work as well, because
Right.
one of the big things with Google right now is proximity. So if you have people that are closer to you, it's going to be, or closer to your target area than where you are, it's going to be really hard for you to rank in those areas. So yes, you can do a service-based business and that will help you out, but it's not going to overcome the proximity problem that you have. So yes, Google reviews are great, and yes, they do work well, but and you should be asking for them. And a lot of times, I did some research the other day. You go and get 20 or 30 reviews for your Christmas light business, you'll have more reviews than any other person in your area, because not a lot of people focus on just Christmas lights. So that's the thing that will separate you from your competitors at the end of the day.
Makes perfect sense. So right now, what's working for getting new leads, do you think?
Getting leads for Christmas lights, especially at this time of the year, is going to be your website. Like that's what's going to be the big thing. And then the other thing is networking. A lot of times we downplay networking, but man, networking is king and I believe that networking moving forward is more than even in the past. Because as you said, Stacy, they are changing, like AI is changing everything. Like if you look at everybody's website, they're all going down. And I don't care who you're talking about. It can be big people, little people, it can be in any industry, because the AI overview is not even showing blue links anymore. So they're answering people's questions before they even get to your website. So they're not even coming to your website no more. So to get leads, I would say that, Google's working, Google's still there. You got to still do it. You know, your Google business profile will help with that. Regular SEO or search engine optimization. If you didn't know what SEO was, but search engine optimization. And then honestly, this time of year is a couple other things that you can do with AI that, ask AI, but now you can go out and start scraping stuff, and you can scrape bids. You can scrape, you can scrape who owns these buildings. You can start sending quotes that way. You can, I know some people that you can build your own software to do this. There's people that do software with AI now because it's so simple to do, that you could literally go and send out postcards to all these places that have it already designed for it. So there's a lot of things in the industry as we move forward with AI that some people don't have a clue with it, right? Some people are like, oh, AI is just stupid or whatever. And some people I've actually heard it's of the devil. I actually heard it again not too long ago. It kind of made me chuckle because I hadn't heard that one in a while. But it is something that, it's changing, and you can do emails way easier than you could do in the past, and you can go get those things. And then one of my other favorites ones is LinkedIn, right? If you use LinkedIn, I had two guys last year come to my class, and two of them closed $20,000 jobs. One closed at 15 and one closed at $20,000 within like a couple of weeks after they started implementing the strategy I tell for LinkedIn. And they went and closed two hotels. One was 15 and one was $20,000. So it's a perfect way to get a hold of people. And it's just a matter of like, who are you looking for? Are you looking for property
Right.
managers? Are you looking for event type people? Are you looking for, the city bids? That's a whole nother thing that AI can go scrape all that stuff and help you understand what the bid is and all that good stuff.
Right. Super helpful. Yeah, it just depends on how you use it. And I've heard similar things, AI being all the things that they say it is. I love it. It's a great tool. It's a great tool for our business. It's a great tool for the folks we're consulting with to help them with their businesses. And I mean, I'm excited about where AI is going. I think it's a
And
great thing.
and
It's,
Table 5 right now is freaking amazing. So if you've unclawed it all. So
yeah. So right now, when it comes to people, what separates companies that are making like $50,000 in Christmas to people who are making 500,000? Like, what would you say separates those two?
customer service, people that answer their phone, people that answer the phone. And did I say people that answer their phone? Get back to them quickly. I've seen people like, I've talked to them. They're like, man, I've got 25 quotes. They're from 3 days back. I'm like, well, you can throw all the ones from 3 days back away because those are gone. And so it's how quick are you responding to it? And I think one of the things I've kind of learned too is it's yes, it is about making money, but when you can change your mindset to the customer that you're just there to help them, right? I'm just here to help you to make sure that you have an amazing Christmas. And when you change that mindset, then it becomes, I'm here to help you because I want to see your kid's face when they come home, and it's going to be amazing. And that's a memory that you can't put money on, right? And so a lot of guys, why they get struggled, and they might make 50 or 100 grand, but they're literally working. They're working from sun up to sundown, and if you really look at it, like a lot of people don't realize what their numbers are. They're not making any money. Like you're literally like, you could have went to work at Chick-fil-A over here and not been frozen and didn't fall off the roof and break your head, and you still probably have made more money over there.
Right. Yeah, we just had Jacob Bartholomew. Make sure I didn't screw that up. Jacob Bartholomew, you just agreed with you. Said mindset is everything, and it really is. I mean, once you get your mind right and you know what your core values are and where you want to be, and you just work towards that. If you don't have the right mindset, you're never going to get there. So Yeah.
Right. Shout out to Jacob, Mr. Pipeline. He's our helper over there and helps with our website, and he can help a lot of people with their SEO and all those questions you have. Get a hold of Jacob. He'll help you out with that. Over here, talking about this side of it. Um, so definitely mindset for sure. A lot of business owners that I'm working with, they just don't know when to stop doing everything themselves. Like, what do you think? At what point should a business stop? Like the owner try to do everything themselves. Like, what do you think that looks like?
As fast as you can. Get off the truck, right? As fast
Yeah.
as you can. Um, I hear it all the time. Well, they can't do the work as good as I can. Um, whatever else. It's back to that's the lie you're telling yourself at the end of the day. There's no great employees out there anymore. Like you're literally speaking this stuff in existence, and you're right at
Right.
that point. You're literally telling yourself that. And so, getting off the truck, if you want to grow and scale, the faster you can get off the truck, the faster you grow and scale. Because a lot of times people don't realize when you're doing the thing, when you're hanging the lights, your mindset and your mental capacity is all about how do I get these lights up. But when I put that light down and now all I'm thinking about is how do I get more sales? What do I need to do for marketing? Then that becomes where it is. And then, like I said, then maybe we pay somebody else to do the marketing. So then now all I'm doing is focusing on sales at that point. So when you're on the truck, you can't really focus and do everything well. You might be able to do it all, but like I said, when you got 20 quotes sitting there because you've been on the truck all day doing a $20 an hour task that you could literally pay somebody 20 bucks an hour to do it, or maybe 30 bucks an hour to do it, but yet you're not doing the $1,000 an hour task of sending out those quotes, or especially in the commercial world, it might be $100,000 task because
Right.
you going over that bid scale and getting everything bidded out. That's literally $100,000 an hour task that you're working on a $20 an hour task instead of that $100,000 an hour task. You might not be sending out that email that could be worth $1 million because you're still over here working on the truck, getting there. And then when you're home, you're too tired, or you got to get everything bulbed. And, you're trying to send out quotes and trying to do AR and you're trying to do all these things. But it's back to when you focus on that thing and you start working on the $100 an hour task and $1,000 an hour task and, $10,000 an hour task, $100,000 an hour task. That one email could bring in $100,000. But if you never send that email, you're just working on your $30 an hour task. And then you're wondering why you can't grow. You're wondering why you're struggling so much because you're just focusing on that $30 an hour task.
Right. Makes perfect sense. What do you think, Patrick?
No, I completely agree. I mean, there's at some point where, if you're just starting out, you need to learn how to put the lights up. You need to, so when your employees do call you, you can give them an answer, or, you can see problems before they even are a problem. So it's always good to know how to do everything in your business, but at some point it starts costing you money to where you're losing money by, not hiring people, by not, like Jason said, focusing on the stuff that's making you money. Yeah, it's not hard to put up lights. So as long as you can effectively teach someone or send them to a training, they'll know how to do it. Um, but focusing on the important stuff that makes you money is where you need to be.
Right.
I'll say one
Thanks.
thing before, one of my guys that I coached that I got into over $1 million in 3 years. Like he's only been on like two or three roofs his whole entire time because he's hired people. Now his first year he was on every job, but after that year two and three, he was never on every job at that point. And so that's why he's been able to get to seven figures within less than 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, heck, we just did the RGB Christmas light job, and Stacy was all gung ho, and I know she hasn't been on a lot of roofs, so I was like, perfect, go for it. I've been on enough roofs, like go for it, and she did great. And
Well, I didn't fall off. That was the first thing. I
That's
did
yeah,
being
not fall.
great then.
yeah, yeah. So she did great, and we got the job done in maybe an hour and 15 minutes. It wasn't difficult at all, and so it kind of gave her a little bit of the installer point of view because she hasn't had much residential experience. So, but I'm sure, you know you can always tell somebody how to do it, but now that Stacey's actually been up there and she's done a couple, we did her house last year. She has a better understanding, so she could probably give, when she's talking to people, she knows kind of what they're feeling when they're up there, or the problems that arise, or but when you've never been on a roof, you have no idea. So, yeah, the first year, yeah, go out and do as many as you can, and then after that, you can. And there are going to be stuff that comes up that you haven't dealt with, but you just kind of, like, say, if you don't know the answer, you call somebody, or so find someone who knows the answer. So,
Yeah, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
yep.
I mean, and both. But so we're permanent lighting. I want to touch on that real quick before we talk about the expo. What's your take on permanent lighting, Jason? Where do you stand with that?
I think it's a thing that Govee has done really well to get it out in the industry. I think it makes a lot of money, so there's definitely money to be made in it. So I'm not against permanent lighting. I think that it is something that, some people, that's all they focus on, and that's great. Go do that. Some people try to do both. And so, maybe they don't do it in their busy season. So there's ways to figure it out to keep it out of their busy season. But at the end of the day, originally I thought maybe it might be a fad, but this is what, year 3 or 4 coming into what permanent lights is. And so it's not going away. And so you either figure out how to make it, or you don't go with it. So there's two things with it. Do I think it'll take over the Christmas light industry? And I don't think it'll take over the Christmas light industry. I think people still like the old style look. Will you lose some? Absolutely.
Right. Right. And something that Patrick talks about a lot is if someone puts up the permanent lighting, it doesn't end their opportunity to add other things to it. Right.
Mhm.
It may free up budget for other things.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you have a customer spending 1,500, $1,000, $2,000 a year, that budget doesn't go away. Like they're used to spending it. So, all right, they get the permanent lights up, but they've always wanted to wrap this big tree, or they wanted, a wreath, or just there's so many, ground stakes or whatever. There's so many different options for to go around their windows, outline their garage. The budget's still there, so just even if you're doing the permanent lights, it's like, okay, we'll put these up, and then this year we'll take that same budget and we'll do other stuff. We'll make it even more spectacular. So
So Christmas Expo, it's coming up in a couple of weeks. And Jason, we're all teaching there. All of us have different topics we're teaching on. So why do you think it's important for someone who's in the industry or coming in or thinking about it to come to the Christmas Expo? Why is that valuable?
I think it's valuable, especially this year. Like, I feel like there's more tracks where I know you kind of helped with this, but to get it more toward a, not just the DIYer. I've in the past, it's always kind of been toward the DIY person versus into the installer side of things. And so I think that it's always great to get around like-minded people, and to meet people that you may have never even thought you might meet, like me. Not to say, I know people do come to see me a lot of times, and I actually got a guy coming that is crushing it right now, that he'll be there. And so it is exciting to get around like-minded people that want to talk all about Christmas lights, because a lot of times you get around other people and they're like, why are you even talking about Christmas lights? Are you weird? And it's like, yes, I am weird. I love Christmas. And I love the money that Christmas makes me. So, before I started hanging Christmas lights, I never hung a Christmas light in my life, and I was always against it. But once we started making money off of it, it was like, I love Christmas light. $10, $20, $30. It just, math is really easy to get done. But so when you get around other like-minded people, it's exciting. And, yes, the classes are great, but I always tell people the networking, I will say that probably 70% of the time you'll learn more from the networking, where you're sitting down eating dinner with someone or sitting down eating lunch. You'll learn more there than maybe even in the classes, because you'll see someone that's a peer of yours that, and even people there want to help each other, and there's going to be some big time people there at this conference in the Christmas light industry. And so, I'm excited to meet Jason at the end of the day, not Jason Geiman, but a different Jason. And so it is exciting to, to be able to go see and to see these people that have grown monster businesses. And so that is the exciting thing. And even with the expo side, like some of these guys that are the DIYers, man, they've built some things that are freaking amazing. Like it's all the where it goes to the music, and some of them might have been on YouTube. They might be on YouTube in the future, and like they have a whole different knowledge base that is like I didn't even know you could do some of this stuff. So I'm excited with AI, and I've already heard how AI is helping with it. Is to see like what is the next level of this stuff.
Yeah, I can't wait to see all of that. So you're
Yeah.
teaching you teaching two classes or three classes, Jason? I can't
two
remember which one of
classes, two classes, two that I'm really excited about. I've kind of become more and more passionate about. One of them is safety. We've had way too many people fall off in the industry in the last couple of years. I have one of the largest Christmas light groups in the world, and I get tired of seeing people that, the GoFundMe's that I have to pay and all those other things because, well, my husband, he was up on the roof and he fell off, and his Apple Watch called me or messaged me right away as he's laying there, as I had just left him, and he's laying there dying almost. Luckily, the guy didn't die, but he was in bad shape. Or the guy that broke both knees and legs and bones and all kinds of stuff and can't work for 6 months. So safety is a big thing that I'm big on. And then the other one is that bad word profit. A lot of people think profit's a bad word. And so the more that I've been researching it and putting time into this, it's kind of been exciting to be like, what else am I missing that people aren't seeing? And so I'm excited for those two things to have, how to actually make profit. I'm a big profit first person. I love Profit First, Michael's book. And it's like, if you don't have profit, you just got a you just got a paying job is all you have at the end of the day.
Right. So the name of your classes, we have Don't Fall, Ladder and Roof Safety, right? That's happening. And then we have Stop Leaving Money on the Roof. We're pricing Christmas light jobs for profit with Jason Geiman. Those are great. And those are part of the residential track. They're going to be happening in that track. So if you are signed up for the expo, you have to buy the extra ticket to come to see these residential or commercial Christmas tracks we have going on. So the schedule is online, but I have to have them update with your information on there because it's not up there yet. That's really interesting. I was like looking at that today going, wait a minute, we're not listing you on there. So we're going to get you on there. But it's going to be updated very soon to have you on there. And your classes are going to be Thursday and Friday. So if you're coming in Thursday, make sure you see his class. And Patrick, why don't you talk about what you're going to be training on this year?
Woo, I'm excited. But yeah, so I'm going to be doing projection mapping, teaching two classes. There's one free one for just entry. It's just entry into projection mapping with Illumibot technology, and it's such a cool technology that's fairly new, and it's so we've been dealing with Illumibot for the last year and getting to work side by side with them and see, like you're saying, with AI, the just in the last year when we first saw it last year versus where it's at now, it's a completely different machine, and it's only going to get better. So I'm going to be teaching one of the, am I doing commercial, residential? I don't even know. I just know I'm teaching a couple of classes about Illumibot projection mapping technology, and then
Yes. So I have you on the schedule and I added you 3 times.
yeah. Yeah,
So
I have no clue. I just,
it just says
Stacy,
okay.
yeah, Stacy says, okay, you're teaching these classes. Okay, cool. I just, but yeah, so obviously the commercial one will be a little different than the residential one. And then the free class, it will be different from the residential and the commercial. So, so yeah,
Right.
three,
So projection mapping is a huge hot topic that's out there, right? Because I know anyone who's in the commercial industry, you've been seeing it at these larger places, and it costs so much money, like hundreds of thousands of dollars is what it's costed the past to get projection mapping up. Now with the Lumibot AI technology we have, other people can do it for less, right? We can do it ourselves. The DIY folks can do it, residential installers can use it, and then commercial installers can do it at a better budget, to hopefully fit inside the program. So Patrick's going to be speaking on that Thursday for residential and commercial, and then Saturday morning for the DIYers. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, on the our side of the for installers, it's under $8,000 you can get a residential system in. Commercial is a little different. I mean, it's a lot different. Just like commercial Christmas and commercial, residential Christmas. So it's just there's a lot of it.
elevated.
And it's just so funny when people get into it. And I was the same way. What projector do I need? Well, there's hundreds of projectors out there, and I was working with Ross and them, but they're busy. So I literally learned a lot about projectors from AI. Like I went to ChatGPT, to Claude, and I just started learning everything I needed to know about which kind of projectors, because it's the biggest expense of projection mapping is the projector. So there's certain situations you can get away with a cheaper projector that have low light, but if you have a lot of light, you need more lumens. So, that's the biggest question, and I'll be going over that. But yeah, I mean, literally, I learned a lot of what I know from AI, and then with talking with Ross and them, because they're, geniuses about projection mapping and the system that they have. So, but yeah, I'm excited to teach 3 classes now. I think yesterday we were at 2, so now I'm doing 3. But whatever. I enjoy teaching people. I enjoy learning, and like Jason was saying earlier, when we go to conventions and stuff, I just love meeting people. Getting that making the connection, hearing people's stories, and going to dinner, having a beer or whatever, having lunch. It's my favorite part of the expo.
So I pulled up on the screen. Can you guys see the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I pulled up the Facebook page for Christmas Expo community. We should have more members in this. So if you're watching or you're listening, like come in here and join this community. This is where Christmas Expo is posting most of their what's happening, right? So what's happening, we have snow effects is coming. We have Lux Light Decor is coming. Of course, Certified Lights is coming to have classes as well. We have Kristen Moss from the Great Christmas Light Fight coming to talk on Saturday. And then all the vendors are listed on here too. So it shows the returning vendors and the new vendors that are going to be there. And I think, of course, the networking is great, but networking with vendors, I think, is so important if you're an installer, to know what your options are. Because some people they buy from who they like to work with. So you want to meet them in person, right? And then you may meet people that have other options for you. So it's really important to go meet the vendors. And then our keynote speaker, Jason Woodward, love working with Christmas designers. So excited to see him on Thursday. He's also teaching a class as well in our commercial Christmas track about installing large Christmas trees, which everyone I talk to interested in commercial Christmas says, what about these large trees? How do I do it? And so Jason's going to make it really simple. He actually spoke at our Sleigh the Season Red Sleigh workshop training about the same thing, and it was such a great class. Like he just puts on a great class and has all the information regarding installing these large trees. So just having him available to have like that conversation with is worth it, just to come for that. So
Then,
that is the page.
well,
The
then we also have the Spanish speaking series, which, we're excited about because there's a lot of Spanish speaking or, installers out there who don't have trainings to go to. So we're excited to have that entire series dedicated to Spanish speaking, just to include them as well.
Yes, it's exciting too. So if you haven't registered, you can go here to christmasexpo.com to registration, and there's lots of options here, but you can get your pre-show registration, your regular premium workshop registrations, and then you just got to pick which one you want and get registered. And the hotel rooms, I think the block pricing is up, but you can always try to see what's left on the hotel rooms for this location at the DoubleTree. But what I like about this this expo too is that everything's right there, right? If you stay at the hotel, you're going to the classes, you're going to the vendor booths, and it's right there. And the way that we set up the Christmas, the installer training tracks are so that you can be in class and then go in the vendor area and then be in class and go in. So you don't have to pick or choose. If you want to be with the vendors, you can. There's time in the training to talk to the vendors and see all what they're bringing. So
And make sure you ask questions. That's, I love going to all these expos and conventions and stuff. And you see people walking by and they're like, I don't know, should I ask him? Should I not? Just go ask him. That's why we're there. We're there to talk to you. We're there to answer your questions. Of course, everybody's selling something, but at the end of the day, we just want to help you and your business grow. So come over, say hi, ask any questions you like. And if we don't know the answer, there's probably a vendor there that has the answer. So we can get you to who we think can help you the best. Um, yeah. So, but yeah, definitely come by. Also, like I've said on the last couple lives, I got a 3D printer because my daughter, I have a 5-year-old and she loves 3D printed stuff. I actually just made her a K-pop Demon Hunter figure last night, and she's been showing everybody. So, but I'm actually 3D printing special gifts for people who are watching the live. So if you come by our booth, the Red Sleigh Workshop booth, and just say Slay the Season, I'll have a special 3D printed gift for you there. Um, so I'm an Anaheim Ducks fan, if you didn't know. So I actually 3D printed a Anaheim Ducks hockey puck the other day. So super excited about that. But it won't be a hockey puck because those take a little while longer to print. Um, but yeah, I'll have something there for you. And yeah, we just want people to come to the expo, take a class, learn. You don't know everything as much as you think you do. You don't. So, and then definitely do some great networking with everybody in attendance, and just have a good time. And let's talk Christmas. And we're excited for Christmas Expo in Dallas.
yeah, so Red Sleigh Workshop has a booth there. And we're right next to Certified Lights. Jason, your company, are you having a booth or are you just going to be walking around?
I'll just be walking around, so I'll be answering. If you don't, back to what Patrick said, don't be afraid to ask. You have not because you ask not. It's a principle that's been around for hundreds of thousands of years. And so don't be afraid. I always tell people there is no stupid question. I know sometimes you feel like it's a stupid question, but it's not. If you don't know it, it's not a stupid question. So definitely, I mean, come up to me, ask. I'm wide open. All the other vendors are the same way. We all have the same thing. My main goal is how can I help you grow your business? How can I help you get to reach your goals? If your goal is to get 6 figures, awesome, let's get you there. If your goal is to get 7, 8 figures, awesome. How can I help you to get there? And so that's what my passion is about. I get more excited when I hear someone make their goal than sometimes on my own goals. So it is exciting to help see you grow your business at the end of the day. So definitely don't hesitate to reach out and ask. And I mean, you can reach out and ask anything. If you go on my website, that's what Stacy has here. And you will find my phone number. It's open up there. It's on the other site, but you'll figure it out if you dig hard enough. But this is my training site. So if you need anything, definitely I have some trainings coming up here in August, September, and October. It's a hands-on training class here in my shop where you're able to actually do the hands-on portion. And that way you can, make sure you don't fall off the roof and understand all the tools and how the tools work. And, that is there. And there's my phone number right there, 855-619-5483. You can text me. Text works best for me, but I will answer it if you do call me. But if there's anything I can do to help anybody, definitely reach out to me. And I know Stacy and Patrick's the same way as this. So
Yeah, we have all the socials. Red Sleigh Workshop is on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, redslayworkshop.com. We have a little button you can click and do a 15-minute call with us. And we'll answer your questions and see how we can help you. And if it's something we can't help you with, we will refer you to someone who can help you and answer the questions that you have. So Um,
Right.
yeah,
And if anyone's trying to go like directly from residential to commercial and they're ready to take that leap, you can schedule the 2-hour consultation with me on our website directly there. There's a calendar that comes up when you push the button. It's $500 unless you're in some special group, which if you are, call me and we'll talk about that. Some special groups get special pricing, but the 2-hour consultation is where you want to start with us to help get you going because filling the gaps in your residential to commercial space takes one-on-one. I can't just teach a class and everyone gets it. Everyone has different needs. Every business owner is in a different spot. So there's
yeah.
that.
Well, even the people that come to our training, we require them to go through the 2-hour consultation so that when we have our in-person training, we kind of know what the needs are of the group, so we can focus on that a little more. Because when you're teaching a class, you have 30 people in there. It's hard to just teach what one or two people need. Whereas we have everyone go through the consultation, so we have a better understanding on the topics that need to have a little bit more weight put on them. But during the consultation, it's, I mean, a huge deep dive to go through your business, see where you're at, see where you want to be, and how to fill those gaps that you have to kind of get you to where you want to go. Um, Stacy does them and she's a master at it. I've had to sit through a couple of them and I won't say I had to, I got to because it's truly amazing watching her do what she does. So it's just fun to go through and see where people are at in business, where they want to be, what their challenges are, and then how we can help them or direct them how to fix it and make them successful for making it into the commercial industry.
Super exciting.
So
So I have some like rapid fire questions for Jason since he's on here before we hang up. I know we're taking up your time. We're going to be done here in a minute. Um, so your one word answer. Okay, ready? Roofs or trees?
Roofs.
Coffee or energy drinks?
See, neither.
No caffeine?
I drink pop, but I don't drink
Pop,
energy.
soda.
Yeah, soda.
Okay, pop. I'm not from the South. Okay. Um, Sales or operations?
Sales.
Bucket trucks or ladders?
In our industry, and my side of it would be ladders.
Ladders. Okay. Commercial though,
Would be
bucket trucks. Yeah. All right. And so what about you? Are you on the warm white team, the cool white team, or the multicolored team?
I'm on the warm white team because that's where all the money's at, or that's what most people
Oh,
buy. I like the candy cane. I like color in my life. I don't like the pure white, but the warm white or the I like candy cane stuff like that.
all right. So what's one tool that you can't live without?
Computer
Yeah. I was gonna say my iPhone. That's
or that.
Patrick, what about you?
what's one tool that I can't live without? Yeah, my phone, computer. I mean, that's what we
Yeah,
do. That's where we do all of our business. So
yeah.
um, without that,
It's rare that you pull out your laptop when we're anywhere.
yeah, when we travel, Stacy has like her laptop, her keyboard, her all this crazy stuff, and I just have my phone and my tablet. Like, I just I do everything that I need to do from those two things. So like I'm on my
I'm
laptop.
from the 1900s, okay?
Yeah, you're the mid to late 1900s. So but yeah, so I do everything. I do all these lives from my laptop, just because the camera's really amazing. But after we get off the live, I'm gonna shut it down. Won't use it for a couple days. So
All right. Jason, favorite Christmas song?
Um, I don't know. Something I like the fast ones, like the what's the Trans-Siberian Orchestra one? That's probably my favorite.
Yeah, the Siberian Orchestra.
Yeah,
Trans-Siberian Orchestra. That's great. How about
that's
you, Patrick? Favorite Christmas song? That's a hard question for you. Never mind.
yeah, I don't like Christmas music. So when I was a kid,
He doesn't
when
like
I was a
Christmas at
kid,
all.
when I was a kid, my mom we had a 6 disc CD changer in the early 2000s,
That
and
was high tech.
my mom would put on 6 CDs from November 1st, or no, the day after Thanksgiving through Christmas. And it was the same 6 CDs for that entire time, every day, all day. And it killed Christmas music for me. I was so over it. Um, but yeah, I mean, Rascal Flats, I like their holiday music. So, and then I actually love Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You. Like I know people hate it, but I love that song. It gets me every time. So,
Awesome. Okay, Patrick, how about you? Colored lights or warm white lights?
RGB.
RGB, all the colors. 16 million colors. That's what you
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
Coffee or energy drinks?
Energy drinks. I've only had coffee twice in my life. So,
Yes. The energy drink you discovered last season.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what it's called. C3, C4. Yeah,
Yeah.
man, that was great. So that got me through some pretty long nights. So
And days,
yeah,
nights and days. All right. Well, thank you again. Thank you so much for joining us, Jason, taking the time out of your day. Everything you're doing through your Christmas business is helping raise our professionalism of our industry. We appreciate that, everything that you do there. I really enjoyed talking to you, and make sure you follow Jason on his whatever it is on the website. Where are you on all those stations too? YouTube, right? You're
Yep,
on YouTube, you're on
all of
Facebook, you have all of it, right? So people
Yep.
just go find you everywhere.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for training, for coaching, for products, business resources, he has it all there, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And then don't forget to register for the expo. It's coming up. Jason and I and Patrick will be teaching. And whether you're just getting started, you're scaling your business, it's all there. Something for everyone. And Patrick, do you have any final words for our viewers?
Thanks for watching, whether you're watching live or you're watching in the future. Thanks to Jason. Got to meet him at Transworld this year, and so actually didn't recognize him at first. I have this horrible thing at expos and conventions where I don't look at name tags, and so I was like, "Man, this guy looks so familiar." And then finally I looked out at his name tag and was like, "Oh my God, I'm an idiot." But so actually looking forward to spending and my Transworld was cut short a little bit, so I didn't get to spend a lot of time there, but so excited to see Jason and talk to him a little more, and to talk to everybody at Christmas Expo. It's in 2 weeks. So all of a sudden, what we've been talking about for a couple months is right here. So thanks for watching. Come by our booth, take some classes and have a good time. Just, yeah, excited about Expo.
Okay, Jason, final words for our viewers.
Take action. Nothing happens if you don't take action. And yes, it might be scary. Yes, it might be, you don't know the unknowns, but professionally, people are like, it ain't perfect. I promise you it'll never be perfect. Just take action and it'll happen over time.
Great advice. Thank you so much, Jason. Thank you, Patrick. And thank you all for watching Slay the Season Live. We'll see you next time. And until then, keep slaying the season.
Keep saying the teeth.
That's on there. You think I wasn't stopped yet, so that's gonna
Oh,
be on our live. I'm keeping that
perfect.
on there. I'm keeping that on there.
Hold on, dude. Oh, Michael.